DreAllDay.com. DreAllDay.com. Topic of this video is understanding that most people are not ambitious. And the reason why this matters is because for all of y'all who are salespeople, and this is something that I've learned, and since I stopped playing ball, I've invested a lot into education when it comes to marketing and selling. And a big part of it, well, a lot of people don't, maybe some of you may understand conceptually, but don't understand on a really deep level, is that a lot of the game and everything that we do is much more on the philosophy mindset side than it is on the application tactical side. Right? So yes, there is a baseline of skills that you need to have in order to be successful, but in order to apply those skills and actually create that success, however you define that word success, is a lot of it is philosophy, a lot of it is mindset and the way that we think about how we do our work. This applies in sports, it applies in relationships, it applies in business, meaning you could have all these skills and know how to do the thing, but if you don't have the mindset to actually apply it, then you're not going to get the outcome that you want. And I'll probably the next couple of videos I'll probably talk about this in several different ways so that y'all can really understand what I'm saying here, because a lot of people really don't get it. They think they get it, but they don't actually get it. So when it comes to this part, for those of you who are salespeople, understand something, that I estimate about 2% of the population has ambition. Ambition means a strong determination or desire to achieve certain outcomes. A strong determination to go achieve, meaning they are really, 2% of people are really consciously and intentionally, these are two key words that I use often, consciously and intentionally trying to elevate their level and go to a next level and a next level and a next level. They're always trying to go to another level from wherever they're at. They're always trying to do better and get better and go further and go harder and get more. Only about 2% of people are trying to do that. And it's interesting, even with myself. I look back on life and I think about all the people who I grew up with, whether it's people who I know from my neighborhood, and then people who I went to school with, like middle school, high school, then people who I played ball with, high school, college, even professional players, like when their careers end. I'm 40 years old, so most of the people who I played with don't play anymore, or at least who are my age, they don't play anymore. And just people I went to college with, I'm talking about people who are in my classes and we got the same degrees and all that stuff. And I look at them, and I look at them over the years, not like in a small snapshot, but over the years as time goes on. This is 100%, 1000% true that most people don't have ambition. Most people in life, what most people do is they get to a certain level and they pretty much level off. That they don't go any further than that. Not because they are incapable, not because they don't have the ability to, and not because they're not aware that there's more that they could achieve in life. It's simply because they don't want to. They simply don't have the desire to try. And because look, you could try to do something and not get it, right? But many people don't get past a certain level in life, not because they tried and failed, but because they never tried. So they didn't really fail because they didn't have the desire to do it. So you can't say they failed because it wasn't a goal of theirs. Some people are okay with, let's say if the highest level you could achieve in life is like a level 100. Many people in life get to a certain level. Some people get to a level 30 and they're good at a level 30, and that's where they want to be, and they're good with that, and that's fine. If that's what they want to do, they have a right to do that. Some people get to a level 50, some people get to a 67, some people get to an 88, and that's it. And some people kind of, based on where you come from, you might get born into a certain situation to where it's easier for you to get to a certain level without really trying that hard, and that's pretty much where you stay. So let's say your parents were a level 88, so you don't really have to work that hard. You inherit their business. You could be a level 85 without really trying, and that's good. You good with that. All right? You could get to a level 100 if you try really, really hard. Like the person went from a 0 to a 50 Their parents were 0. They got to a 50. They had to work really hard to get to that 50. You didn't have to put in any effort to be at 85. If you had that 0 to 50 person's level of ambition, you get to a level 100. You get over 100, but you don't want to, and that's all right. Everybody has a right to be who they want to be in life. My point being, those of you who are salespeople, those of you whose job is to persuade and influence other people into doing things, you have to understand, and you have to internalize that when you're trying to persuade another person, if you're the ambitious type, do not make the mistake that a lot of salespeople make of thinking that they have your ambition, because odds are they probably don't. Most people don't have that kind of level of ambition. And again, I've been a lot of places. I've been all over the world. I've come from the hood, went to schools, went to college, moved around in a bunch of different places, lived in a bunch of different places, live in a place now that's very eclectic. And I live in Miami. Most of the people who live here are not from here, so I meet all different types of people and deal with all different types of people all the time. And I have an audience, and I'm the type of person who engages with my audience, so I talk to all different types of people every single day. So I know this to be true. Now, what you have to understand is, and this is where your ability to read people comes in, because a lot of people will say things that sound ambitious. And again, if anybody's qualified to tell you this, I am. I talk to people every day and hear from people every day who say stuff that sounds really ambitious. Like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to go to this level, I want to do this, that, and the third. I hear from people all the time talking all this stuff about how ambitious they are and how ambitious they want to be and all these things that they want to achieve and do and all this stuff. But then when it comes time to actually do it, things change. All right? They don't have that level of ambition. A lot of people are not as ambitious as they would like to sound, or they want you to believe that they are. Because ambition requires not only a desire, like a thought in the mind to achieve things, but it also requires you to put some action behind those thoughts to get the accomplishment. And many people a lot of people talk about wanting to do stuff. I say, all right, do you want to make $100 million a year? Most people say, yeah. Well, I mean, everybody can figure out what to do with the money. But are you willing to do the work and put in the effort and do all the stuff that will be necessary, make the sacrifices that will be necessary in order to achieve that outcome? That's when things change. The answer for most people is no. They're not willing to make the efforts that would be required to make that a real thing. Is this a turn? I can't even tell. Directions telling me to turn somewhere. I think that's an illegal turn. Google Maps will give me a moving violation. But anyway, this is what I want all of you to understand. Whether you're selling to people, or you're just talking to people, or you're just having no casual conversation with individuals, understand that ambition exists in only about 2% of people. So, as a salesperson, as an influencer, you need to keep in mind when you're talking to people that either A, you are only talking to 2% of people, so you're fishing. In other words, it's like, any of you ever been fishing? You're not fishing for any fish to bite on your hook. You're putting in a certain bait that's only going to attract a certain type of fish, and there's only 2 out of every 100 fish is interested in that bait. You need to go to the lake with your fishing material, understanding that you're only talking about 2% of the fish, so that most of the fish that are swimming past your hook, you're not bothered by that, and it doesn't throw you off that you're not getting that many bites, because you know that you're not trying to get everybody to bite on your hook, because only 2 out of every 100 are interested. So you're you're searching for treasure, basically. Buried treasure that's really hard to find, because it ain't that many that fit the description. This is like this beautiful, brand new, modern house in the middle of this rundown block. It's a funny looking house right in the middle of a whole bunch of, well, I guess they about to renovate this whole block. But anyway, or you can either do it that way, knowing that not every fish is going to bite on your hook, or B, you need to frame your offerings and whatever you're talking about in such a way that the 98%, the people who might talk that shit but they're not really ambitious, you need to frame your offerings in such a way that they would actually be interested, and they don't have to have ambition to be interested. because 98% of people ain't ambitious. So if you want to reach the masses of people, you want to reach the majority of people out there in the world, then you got to talk their language. And the majority of people are not trying to get up every day and do a whole bunch of hard work and grinding and all that stuff that, let's say, that I talk about often. Most people ain't trying to get up every day and do that every day, all right? Because that's work, that's effort, and most people ain't signing up for that. So as long as you understand that, then you'll have a good mindset, a good framework for how you're going to move forward in your business, or maybe you want to make some changes to how you do things. But this is very important for people to understand. If you are confused about this, it will cause you a lot of mental strife, because you won't be getting the outcomes that you want, and you'll be thinking that something's wrong with you, but nothing's wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong is that you don't understand how people actually are, as opposed to what they say. People can say anything, but you shouldn't believe most of what people say. I mean, if you're listening to this video, you should be old enough to understand it. All right, so with all that said, text me to get my daily motivation text free of charge to your phone every morning. My number is 305-384-6894. And then get started in my 30 Days to Discipline course. This will help you apply the strategies to your life so that you can be more productive, get more things done, rebuild that belief in yourself, stop leaving things half done and undone like a lot of people do in life, through that 30 Days Discipline course, which does exactly what it says. Within 30 days or less, your levels of discipline will be up, your consistency will be up, and you'll be getting more things done like you want to. That's at workonyourgame.com/30. The links to both of those are down below in the description. Work on your game. Dre all day.